I do agree that there's so many horrible puppy mill industries. It's very prevalent. But you know, on the other hand, I like to think that there are ethical breeders everywhere as well. People who genuinely love
the breed itself,
and want to continue the line.
Hi, I'm Christine. I'm from Causes for Animals Singapore. So I work with a rescue group to help rehome animals. I'm also a school teacher.
I'm Matilda. I'm a freelance actor and a full-time dog mom. My doggie is right over there and she's the love of my life.
What does a perfect day look like for you?
Perfect day would be hanging out with my dog, going for a walk, going to a nice brunch, you know, getting boozy mimosas. She loves to come with me to a boozy brunch. And then just having a super relaxed, no work, no responsibility day, just chilling, vibing, watching Netflix.
Okay.
That is my perfect day.
All right. I like the boozy mimosas part. So that's definitely my day.
We should go one day.
Yeah, we should go one day. I think for me, it's, I like to remain active and I feel like kind of lost when I don't go to the shelter to walk the dogs. So for me, my weekends are normally with the dogs. I do lots of walking. It can be up to like 20k a day.
Wow, you must be very
so
fit.
I just walk round and round. I don't run so just walking. Yeah,
but still,
I like the dogs
fit.
to have their space.
What are you most grateful for in your life?
I think being able to help. Yeah, I think sometimes in Singapore it's a lot about us. So I think I just like that I can do something for other people, or in this case, other animals.
Right. Well, I'm most grateful for this sounds so cheesy, but honestly, like my life.
Okay, that's cool.
You know, because like everything that you hear in the world now,
it's horrible.
It's so horrible. What's happening? You know, and every morning you read the news, and it just makes you like so thankful that
you're here.
I'm safe in my country, and like I got to bring my dog to work today. Like that's such a privilege in itself. So
tell each other a summarized version of your life story.
Oh my god.
I started up as a baby loving dogs. We always had dogs around. So after that, when I was 14, I started volunteering at a shelter. So I used to like go after school and wash kennels and walk dogs.
Oh my god.
And then I never stopped since then. So I think it became a bit of an addiction. But then at 16, I met my husband at the shelter. So we've been together for 18 years.
Oh my god.
So I think I married like one of the first guys I dated. But
I mean, if you know, you know.
You know, right?
Oh,
So
so
so I met him at a shelter, and then now we do what we love doing with street dogs. So I think, that's the gist of it. And then we're hoping one day we could do a bit more for dogs in other countries. Because I think the street dogs in Singapore now the population's pretty controlled, so things are looking so much better.
Right, and it shows that all your efforts are like so paying off, right? The fact that the problem's getting so much better.
And they're not multiplying so much, so that's great.
That's so good. Yes. Oh my god, you're so like cool. My life story is so lame. Well, I'm just born and bred in Singapore. I've loved dogs my whole life.
Nice.
I never had a dog of my own because my parents were very like, no, you know, you need to be responsible for the dog. Like, we're not going to walk, feed it. So like, you got to be responsible for the dog. So there was no way I could do that with school and everything. And then I went overseas for university. And then when I moved back to Singapore, and then I was like, you know, financially stable, and I like was responsible enough to have my own dog. Then finally, my mom was like, okay. What are 3 things you think you have in common with the person sitting opposite you? I think we both love dogs so much. I think we're both very passionate about what we believe in. And we both like boozy brunch.
Nice! Okay, I don't have to repeat the answers exactly the same.
Exactly. How many pets do you have? Were they purchased or adopted?
Okay, I have 2 dogs now. Both are adopted from Causes for Animals Singapore.
I have one doggie. She is a Bichon Frise. I got her from a breeder.
What makes a good pet owner?
I think someone who is just willing to take responsibility of your pet, because knowledge is something that you can gain over the years of being an experienced pet owner, and you can read up and everything. But I think that willingness to take responsibility and like knowing that they need to be fed, they need to be walked, they need to have their needs met, and knowing that how my dog behaves is entirely up to me.
I think for me, it's like commitment, time. Those are the 2 main things. Because like you said, you can learn over the journey.
Exactly.
So even till today, like I still learn so much.
Exactly, me too,
So I think it's a lot about being willing to learn, being open. And at the same time, know that this is part of your commitment.
Definitely.
And no changes in your life circumstances should say it's okay to forget it.
Oh, 100%. Like,
Regardless of whatever happens to you. I think even on my sickest days, I still got out and walked them. What do you think of the overall adoption process in Singapore?
speaking honestly, I do think there are some organizations that do it very well. Like, it's super thorough, the process. Like, really, when I once was looking for my dog, I don't think I would have passed on first go, because immediately one of the things they ask is, are you a first-time dog owner? And I feel like those are already, you already get, it's a stricter process for you, right? So I know many organizations that do it very well. Yours is one of them, definitely. But I do think there can be improvement, because I know many owners who did adopt their dogs who are awful owners. So I do think that the initial process may be good, but I think the follow-up after that, maybe like that needs to be improved on.
I think the processes in Singapore are generally like what you said, they're quite diverse, but I think there's a lot of time and effort put in by the volunteers. But to be very honest, when it comes to like first-time owners, we don't mark them down, but we do ask, are you open to learn? Because a lot of times, the more experienced owners, ironically, are not open to learning, because they've had so many dogs before, and they're like, I know everything, I don't need a trainer.
That's interesting.
So when I meet younger couples in their 30s who just got their BTO, and they're like so excited about training, hiring a trainer, going to socialization classes. I love that, because I think that's what counts.
What are some key factors in your decision to own a pet? Okay, for me, it's definitely, I've loved dogs my whole life. Like, I don't think there's anything else that makes me as happy, honestly. And because I do have like quite bad anxiety, and so like having a dog really helped me a lot with my my GAD, my generalized anxiety disorder and everything. Like, it gave me reason to like just do better. Knowing that something else was so reliant on me to live, it really, this could sound so dramatic, but it really gave me reason to live.
Okay. I think because always growing up with dogs, I love the fact that they don't expect something in return.
Yes.
Because we live in a society where people only sometimes do things because they expect something in return. But when it comes to a dog, they live in the moment, and they always seem to forgive and forget. And so I think I like to learn from their spirit. What were some key factors in your decision to purchase your pet?
I think because my favorite breed is the Bichon Frise, so I very much wanted that to be my first dog. And I've read also that they're very good for first-time dog owners. And because my mom at home, she has allergies, so we couldn't get a dog that shed very heavily. And Bichons are known to be very allergy-friendly, the most allergy-friendly dog actually. So that was a big factor in choosing the breed. We looked at some organizations who were known to have like breeds like this up for adoption, but cannot find. Really cannot find. And then we did our own like digging around, like looking for like show breeders in Singapore and stuff like that. And then very thankfully we found someone who brought in their show dog from Hong Kong and then bred them with a local stud. And then they had my monkey over there. Why should we adopt instead of purchasing pets?
I think probably for our stance is if we're looking at the kind of dogs that we have, they're mainly rescue dogs, Singapore special. So I think sometimes Singapore is urbanizing so fast, we're developing so fast, so there's literally no space for like our street dogs and our community cats. So one of the best ways to get them off the streets for those with more suitable temperaments would be to find them homes. So that would be one reason I probably would advocate for adoption. But then again, I think I have the balanced view in which I don't think that all street dogs are also suitable to be living in our kind of apartment kind of setting. So at the same time, I do think that adoption is key if you'd like to give a dog another chance that's been living on the streets. And at the same time, I think we're doing our part for Singapore because it's being cleared so fast that there's literally nowhere for them to go. So it's either adoption or they're not rehomed, or they're kept in kennels in shelters, or they're euthanized. So I think probably for me, that's why I would say that I would be adoption pro.
Definitely.
What factors do people consider when deciding to either adopt or purchase? I think for me, I would say that when someone chooses to adopt a dog, or even buy for that matter, a lot of times it's so much so about your lifestyle, whether you can cope with the energy level. So even if you're adopting or buying, I think at the end of the day, it's more so looking at whether you can afford it, you have the time for it, and are you committed to actually attend training? Because regardless of whether a dog is bought or adopted, I think it needs all that. It needs medical care, it still needs training, and it still needs a lot of adjustment in terms of your lifestyle, your circumstance, your housing. So I think more or less those are kind of the common factors that one would think of when you want to buy a pet or even adopt one.
Definitely.
Why do you think there is a stigma behind purchasing pets?
Oh, I think it's the whole like idea that puppies are so unethically bred and stuff like that. And while that happens, I know for a fact that 100% happens in Singapore, and I think everywhere in the world. I think that if no one purchased animals, then some breeds would just die out. But I do agree that there's so many horrible puppy mill industry.
Yes.
It's very prevalent,
Yeah.
and everyone says no, when the buying stops, then all this can
Yes,
too.
yes.
And yeah, that's true. If
Yeah.
people stop buying from
Unethical.
breeders,
Correct,
then
that's
yeah, definitely. But on the other hand, I like to think that there are ethical breeders everywhere as well. People who genuinely love
The breed
the
itself.
breed itself
Yes.
and want to continue the line. Like
Yeah.
for me, my baby girl, her mom was a show dog, and that's why
Yes.
they wanted to continue her
Yes.
line.
Yeah.
And I said, but I'm gonna spay my dog immediately. Like she's not
Understood.
gonna breed. And they were like,
Okay.
okay, but I'm
Yeah.
like, she's my responsibility,
Yes.
so that's my decision to
Correct.
make. Why do you think some people are put off by the adoption process in Singapore?
I think because a lot of times people come to the shelter saying, I would like a dog with no behavioral issues, a dog that's young and healthy. And then when we tell them, no, we don't have a dog like that.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, do you have a puppy?
Yeah.
And I think people get disappointed when you tell them, I don't think a puppy is suitable for you.
Yeah.
Puppies sort of need like 24/7
Oh
kind
my
of supervision.
God, yes.
That's the thing. And a lot of people are like, oh no, it can be kept in a pen for like 5 to 8 hours, and then when I'm back, I can walk it. Doesn't really work that
No.
way. So I think a lot of times people find unhappiness with the process because they don't get what they want. But because we've been doing this for so long, like I've been watching dogs go in and out of the shelter since I was like 14 years old.
Yeah.
You see what makes a successful adoption and what doesn't. So from there, you sort of look out for traits in people when they come, and you sort of match them with a dog that's suitable. Like I wouldn't match a family with kids with a dog that has food aggression.
Oh, definitely not.
Exactly. But a lot of times people are like, oh, this dog is so good looking. This is the dog we want. But the good looking one might have a certain trait about it that's not suitable. And they're like, oh, why don't you want to give us the dog? Is it because it's too good looking, there's so many inquiries, so you don't want to give us the dog? No, not so much. It's really about a match between your lifestyle, your family situation, and the temperament, the traits of the dog. This dog would do so much better in a single person household. Yeah. So
Or like a household that has no dogs or like adults only.
correct, no kids, yeah. So it's really more so trying to do that suitable match, yeah. So I think that's where a lot of the unhappiness lies in the adoption process. I think for Causes for Animals Singapore, for us the process is very quick. If you come see a dog today, and if it's a suitable match, we send you a pre-adoption form to fill up, and then we do a home visit, and then you could possibly have that dog staying with you for a homestay within a week.
Oh.
If you're a suitable match. So if there are draggier processes, they might come from certain other shelters that might be overwhelmed. They've got too many dogs, too little volunteers, and too many inquiries. Yeah.
What do you think about the anti-purchase movement?
I think for me, I'm not so much anti-purchase, but more so I think that what you shared earlier. So if you purchase dogs from unethical breeders, so most of them reside in this giant facility called like the Animal Lodge is at like Sungai Tengah Road.
Right,
so we
right.
have a lot of breeders there. It's what we
Yeah,
call
yeah.
unethical.
Yeah.
So basically these dogs are kept in cages like 24/7.
Yeah.
And then when they're on heat, they're made to breed, and then the puppies come about, the mums barely nurse them, and then they're sold.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of hereditary issues because there's inbreeding as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So I would say that if you want to purchase from people like that, which a lot of people do, and that's why these businesses are thriving,
Yeah.
I would say I'll be anti-purchase that.
Yeah,
But if you're
definitely.
talking about buying a certain breed of dog
Yeah.
from a responsible breeder,
Yeah.
that's not putting his or her dog in a cage 24/7
Yeah.
just to mate,
Yeah.
then I would say that I'm okay with
Yeah.
that, because I do believe that there are certain dogs and certain breeds that people like and they
Yeah.
advocate for, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's more so about how did these dogs come about. So
Definitely.
you've got to be a responsible buyer.
Yeah.
You do your research
Yeah,
before
definitely.
where you know your dog is coming from. So I always say that the basic line would be, ask somebody, can I see the mother of this puppy?
Yes.
If the breeder tells you, oh, you can't see the mother of this puppy,
Yeah.
that guy has something to hide. But in
Definitely.
your case, you saw the parents of your puppy,
Yeah.
so you sort of know where did your dog come about, and I'm assuming the parents were in a good condition. So
Yeah.
since they're show dogs, so yeah.
The
correct.
dad, I think he was a show. I know her uncle was a show dog. That's all I know. I don't know
okay.
whether her actual father
Father
was.
was.
But the fact that I can say that, like I
Yeah.
know who her uncle was.
That's good enough.
Exactly.
At least you know some
I know her
parentage.
line.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So it's not too bad.
What makes a person unfit for adopting a pet? And would this mean the person is unfit to own a pet?
I think unfit to adopt is like what I've explained earlier,
Yeah.
the lack of openness. So the moment you say that I've got tons of experience, I've got nothing left to learn, and I know it all already, then I would normally deem that person a little bit unfit. And I think that a lot of times if people don't really adopt eventually, some of them go out there and buy a pet. It actually comes full circle, or some people are like, oh, I'm pregnant now. so I can't keep the dog anymore. So they came about 6 months earlier to adopt, and I asked them about what if they started a family. Some people will say that's not even a factor to consider. We will keep the dog regardless of whether I have 1 child, 10 children, no children. But then sometimes couples say, oh, if we have a kid, we might have to reconsider. So then you shouldn't be here in the first place. Yeah, because that means a kid is in the pipeline and you might not be able to cope with a dog and a kid. Then don't get a dog.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. What did you learn from each other?
I learned a lot about the adoption process. I had no idea that it could be, number one, that efficient. And I didn't know that first-time dog owners were sometimes even considered more than experienced dog owners because of just their sheer willingness to learn.
Correct.
So those are both things that I didn't know before I sat down here. So
I learned that there are people out there who are making sure that where they get their pet from is a responsible source.
Oh,
so that's quite
100%.
nice because sometimes we only hear the bad. So it's always about, oh, I got it from a puppy mill, and then you feel all icky. It's nice to know that people do so much research. Like you understand your boundaries, you can't have certain dogs because of their fur and all that. Which I think is like the optimal kind of owner because you don't want to get a dog and then later say, oh, I'm itchy now. I mean, dude, you should have figured that out before getting the dog.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's something that I learned as well, which is quite nice. So there's still hope for the human race.
There's so much hope. There's so much hope, honestly.
Do you think we should have conversations with people who disagree with our beliefs?
Yes, 100%. Because there's going to be so many things that you can learn that you've never heard before. If not, then how? Your whole life is just going to be conflict after conflict, right?
Sounds like what's happening in the world today.
Yes, exactly.
So I think sometimes it's just a lot of discussion and it's okay to disagree, but at least you understand the other person's perspective. We may not walk away having a different opinion on certain topics per se, but at least I don't have such a clouded image of someone.
And you've learned something new. It's like you can always learn something new, you know? Do you think you can be friends with me? Yeah, girl. We're gonna get Boozy brunch, okay?
And I'll bring my Singapore special to meet you.
Oh my god, Iggy go freak. Are they boys or girls?
No, both girls.
Oh, okay, then got good
but
chance.
But they're ama already, so
they're
senior dogs. 10 and 13.
Oh no, Iggy may be damn excited. I don't know why she likes old dogs one.
She likes old dogs. But the good thing about the old dogs is they just sit there.
They just chill.
Yeah, I figure we could hang out.
Yeah, definitely. Go get Boozy doggy brunch, okay?
Sounds good.
I was in the A&E after my COVID shot. 6 hours later, I still got up to walk my dog.
Yes.